Hey people, welcome to the channel, and in this case we'll be talking about power, about electricity, about how you get around when you don't have any, how you get around when there's a storm, flood, natural disaster, something that's more local, something that may be even down on your street. I mean, I've had this happen myself, that you had problems that were very localized, a problem with the infrastructure that needs several days to be repaired. You have a big storm that just knocks down lines all over and you will be several days without power, or anything else that you can think of. That's the topic of today's video, and let me just say that I will be leaving several links below for many of these things. If I don't find the exact same thing, which is usually the case, I will be leaving links for items in Amazon that are very similar or just exactly like it. If there's there, I'll put that, but if not, something similar that has good reviews. Those are the affiliate links from Amazon. It does not change your price at all. It does help the channel quite a bit, so it's much appreciated if you end up using them, no matter what you end up buying. And yes, given that it's the holiday seasons and Christmas and everything else, you may want to stock up on some of these things. Also, all of this that you see, it's been with me for years. I've used everything that you see here many times. The only thing I can think of that was sent for reviewing was that thing. I don't remember. It may not even be the case. If that's the case, well, so be it. It does not change my opinion on anything. I have no bias here towards anything whatsoever. And also, the most important thing for you to have is knowledge. That I share with you through the channel, as well as my books. Street Survival Skills, Surviving the Economic Collapse. I mentioned it in all my videos because this is what I do. This is what I believe is important. This is what I've been doing for many years now, and I share with you all of that. I'm not just putting together some bullshit book so as to have with some publisher. I don't even have one. There's all my sweat, blood, and tears invested in it, right? Mostly a lot of not sleeping and staying up until 1, 2 a.m. doing this thing like a lunatic, because this is a passion of mine. This is not a job. This is not just a profession. Survival preparedness is my passion. This is what I love doing. Having said all of that, let's get to this. You don't need to make things more complicated than they need to be. You don't have to worry about, oh, but what if I have this? The only thing I do tell people is have at least the basics. Do you even have a flashlight? No, my cell phone is my flashlight. No, it's not. A flashlight is a flashlight. Cell phone has a little LED for using it as a flash. Yeah, sometimes you have a little bit of a better light in there, but it's never a flashlight. Get yourself a proper flashlight. These are Olights. Olight does send me products. This one I just bought because it was on sale, like 15 bucks, delivered the next day, and I like the color, got it, and that's it. So get yourself a quality flashlight. Olight is usually quite good, and it's a reliable brand, and I think they have some promos these days because of the Christmas season and all. And a bunch of batteries. This combo right here will put you way ahead of most people that don't even own one single flashlight. It's crazy, but that's the way it is. And light is, we can talk about this all day long, but the ability to see in the dark, that is always going to be the most important use that you have for artificial light. For electricity, that's going to be it. And with something like this, you have 40 packed, 40 batteries using one battery at a time. These are Varta, made in Germany. That gives me a little bit more peace of mind than the leaky crap that comes out of China. But just like this, you're already well prepared. Think of it for gift for yourself, gift as a stocking stuffer or whatever the hell it is that you have in mind. But something like this for a couple bucks, well, not a couple, it's like what, 20 depending on what you find, but something like this will already put you ahead of having nothing at all if there's a blackout, if there are issues with that. Now the next step to that, moving up, is gonna be what, 20 something bucks, give or take. Again, I'll check in Amazon, see what I find, and it's going to be something like this. Now, this is not going to be as good of a flashlight as that one, but you have one. Not only do you have a flashlight, you have a flashlight that you can recharge. Now, personally, these are really not great flashlights at all. These are quite, the bluish. Look at this, what I mean? You see it quite clearly, I believe. You see one light and the other. This just focuses light a lot better. There's more of an emergency, better than nothing flashlight for sure. The ability of being able to charge with this, not really much of a thing. It can do it. I have tested many of these, and usually they do work. So you do have that. The solar panel here, it's just too tiny. These are quite effective. So if you have a lot of sunlight, I don't know if I get a little bit of light in there, but usually with a little bit of room light, just through the window, it starts charging already. So it does charge somewhat. Now, if you need a proper flashlight, this is of course the way to go. This is a lot more reliable, convenient, and just better. Most of all, I like these things for the radio. The radio means that you can just listen to the news, listen to whatever is going on. These are supposed to be capable of charging your phone, right? So if you have no battery, but imagine this has maybe a tiny lithium-ion battery, maybe 2,000 milliampere at the most in general. That's what you get here. And charging it with this tiny little panel, waiting until it charges, or just going like this trying to charge your phone. Yeah, I don't envy that at all. That sounds like a freaking nightmare. Hey, better than nothing, yes. So this is still on the better than nothing territory. But if you get into the next step that I believe you have here, this is gonna be a huge step up. Now, it's a huge step up in terms of how much you spend, even though it's really not all that much. I think it's like, I don't remember the prices, but maybe these go for like 20, 30 bucks, and a solid battery bank, like a bigger one, like 20,000 milliampere, something like that. This one also has a very efficient panel. This panel is a lot better, right? So you have a bigger battery, and because you have a bigger surface, you have a nicer. Now this panel will charge this pack. You have even wireless charging, you have the lights like an emergency use, but this thing you can use to charge phones, you can use to charge small devices, flashlights. It's usually gonna be mostly phones, man. That's the thing that people really want to charge when there's a problem, when there's a disaster. Maybe you have a tablet, maybe you have a laptop of some kind, but these days, most things you can resolve with a cell phone. So that's gonna be your main concern. That's why I think that here is where it's at. These, and so I have several of these, and some are nicer than others. I have one that's being sent for reviewing by the guys from Xdata that I like their radios quite a bit, their short bands, and that will be arriving soon, and I'll be reviewing that. But this combo right here is very nice. Maybe you start with this. 30 bucks, give or take, one of these larger. Again, I look up in Amazon whatever I can find for, in case you want to get one of these. But these are already a solid alternative for, I at least have some power. If power goes down and I have my cell phone, I was just about to charge my phone and everything died. Well, you connect it to this thing, and a year later, you will notice that, I mean, man, this thing is fully charged, and I put it a little bit of light, and it starts doing its thing again. It starts charging it again. I would rather combine this with a proper panel for very fast charging. You know, if I have like several family members, or I just want to charge this very quickly to get like a tablet and a few cell phones from the family going, yeah, you can charge this very well. But what about getting the power back in there, getting more juice? Well, you have the tiny panel. Even better if you have something like this. This is a proper solar panel, 28 watts. 28 watts of power. That is gonna be charging that thing as if you plug it against the wall. You plug it in the wall. This is kind of the same thing. It's that much power that you get with this 28 watts folding panel. These are quite nice. They go for a little bit more money. I'm just ballparking it like 50, 60 bucks, give or take. I haven't checked recently, but this is a solid alternative. Maybe it's not even the same brand, but again, these folding panels, and when you see that like matte dark, these are very nice. You just with a decent amount of light out there, even in a little bit of a cloudy environment, this thing will charge this thing as if it was plugged in the wall. And that gives you power for your devices. That's already a great alternative. What if things go on for a longer time? What if you need to power a few more things? For example, I have a fiber, right? Fiber optic internet. I need internet, even more than I need anything else that you could think of, especially if you work online and such, you need internet. And maybe there is. Maybe the fiber optic is up, but you don't have your router. You need to power that thing. Maybe you need to power a router. You need to power some PCs, laptops, even TVs or whatnot. Well, that's where something like these inverters, these are great. Now, this is a cheaper one. I got it, I think, in, anyway, not Halta Force, wherever it, well, anyway, one of these like car retail stuff. So this is just, I'm sure I'll find something better in Amazon, and I'll leave the link for a proper nice inverter there. You have a lot more powerful ones, but this is basically an inverter, and what an inverter does is it uses the battery of your car, right? You connect it to your battery, or you can have, sometimes it has those sockets for the lighter, but you can connect this to the battery of your car, and it uses your battery of your car as if it was a power bank, like a strong power bank, right? And you can turn on your car's engine, and it's going to be running as if it's a generator. So if you have let's say a 1,000 watt inverter, you will be using your car as a generator, which is awesome. I love that because I don't like gas generators. I think they're nice and all, and I get it during emergencies. They're very useful at times, but they're also expensive, they're large, they're heavy, they're complex. You don't use them until you actually need them, and then you have to see if it actually works. Your car, you use it. If you have a diesel car, even better. The diesel car, you just turn that thing on and it runs forever. Diesel is a lot more efficient than gasoline, and there's a big difference there. I hooked this up to a diesel car. I turn it on, and I have a generator there, right? Just make sure you have a wire extension and park kind of like as close as you can and so on. But this thing, yeah, I've done several days of work using my car and using this thing, and it worked just fine. It is really something that you need to get. And then you have the next step, which is what you see there, of course, which is a proper solar panel, right? These are a proper solar panel. You have these, at 100 watts? This is a smaller one. This is an 80 watt solar panel. So it's almost there at 100 watts, but this is a lot of light. There's a lot of electricity that you can generate with it. And you want to combine that with a solar generator dash really big battery pack, which is that EcoFlow thing. I know that they send a bunch around for reviewing. That was not my case. I spent out of the pocket. I was pretty stupid. I should have sent them an email. They probably would have sent me one. But yeah, I pay that for myself. And it's fine. I really like it. I think that's 300 watt hour and 600 watt output. So you can basically, I've tried that on a very large screen TV. Works just fine. I try this on the refrigerator, powers the refrigerator. You can power tools. You can power basically anything you need to power. You can get that done with that thing. Check exactly how much voltage, how much watts you need and so on. But that thing at 600 watts, that runs most things just fine. And if you combine that with that solar power, you may not have electricity all the time, all day long, but with a nice amount of sun out there, then it's going to be depending on your local weather. But if you have lots of sunny days, this thing will keep you going for a very long time. Yeah, every once in a while you will have to shut things up, down, and so on. But that combo, and I think you can add like another battery to that thing so as to make it even bigger. But that's it. This is a fantastic combination. These two things will get you through most emergencies in which, now I'm really not big into, I want to keep my refrigerator going all day long and my freezer. No, you know what? Be smart about this and just simply don't need food that needs to be refrigerated that much. Maybe you have some medical needs and you need some medication that needs to be kept cool. So yeah, especially for that sort of thing, maybe get a small fridge or something in which you can keep the medication that's very well insulated and so on. But in general, my advice is don't rely so much on powering a fridge, which is a modern day luxury really, and have food as shelf-stable and does not require refrigeration. But for everything that regards like electronics, lighting, lighting during a power outage, charging batteries, charging cell phones, flashlights, even having some lights around the house just to feel a bit more normal, that thing will do just fine. Just be smart about it, have very efficient LED, and this will do. The next step to this would be a proper solar installation in your house. Like several of these, and make these 100-watt panels and have a bunch of these and have a proper, now you're talking about several $1,000s. These two, I think it's way under $500. Again, check the links below, but I think these prices have gone down quite a bit, even though these days we have inflation, so who knows. But I'll leave the links for either this one or Belotti. There's something with that sort of like an Italian name that seems to have a lot of good reviews. I'll leave whatever I find in those links in the description of the video for you to check out. But this, combined with a solar panel, man, you are in a very good position to deal with most of these things. And you can start from wherever. You can start there, build your way up, depending on how finances are going and what you can allow yourself to invest in or prepare in. Again, this is a solid little setup. That's even a nicer solid setup, and this is something you definitely should get. I have all of these things because I think that they have a place, and I've honestly used maybe this is the thing that I haven't used the most, or maybe this is the thing I've used the least. I've never had the need to use this in a power outage, right? I have used those things. This one, not so much. I've used similar others that I have because I have plenty of these. I kind of like these little gadgets, but this one had good reviews. So if I find it, I'll leave the link there for you to check out. Guys, it's going to be all for now. See you in the next video. Take care.